Okay, today I'm going to continue painting this landscape. I will try to finish today because I don't want to give a lot of details. It's just a practice, and the goal of this practice is to practice the lighting, the mountain depth, and the sky, a bit of the sky. So I will try to finish today. Okay, some minor updates. I installed this new color picker that allows me to capture the current color I'm using. You can see the color here at the top of on the screen, and you can see the color code I'm using during the painting. I think that it's very helpful because in other illustrations I made for YouTube, a lot of people ask me for the color palettes I'm using, the color codes, and I found this solution. I think it's nice to see the color I'm using. And here in this black bar will be accumulating the colors I'm using also. If I use different greens, appears here. Okay, so let's continue with this illustration. I have the reference picture here. Okay, as I said in the last session, I'm going to add more shadow on over this area, over the foreground, to give more depth and texture to this area. I think that it has more too many lights. Yes, too many lights here. So I'm going to add more shadow, taking advantage of the texture of the texture that the clouds generates over the landscape. So let's continue with these shadow areas. Remember that you can download my free brushes from my store. You can get the link here or in the description. You have the link in the description. Okay, so let's continue. Give me a second. Okay. I'm going to add darker green here. Now I have the pressure sensitivity. This is the pressure sensibility activator or switcher, and when you deactivate, the brush does not respond to the pressure. The size does not respond to the pressure. So for me it's easier for blocking in or for generate soft gradients, playing with the pressure and the opacity. It's easier to generate soft gradients. This is the pressure sensitivity for the size of the brush, and this one is the pressure sensitivity for the opacity. If you click, well, with this brush it's not too noticeable, but this is for the opacity and this is for the size. If I activate this one, press the brush responds to the size, and if I deactivate it, do not respond. In Photoshop I like Photoshop for these two modifiers, price modifiers, because I can modify on the fly directly. In Procreate you have to go to the brush settings and change this option. It's not as easier than Photoshop. So let's continue. Okay. And as I said in the last session, the flow is also very important. If you increase the flow, the brush is more sharp. If you decrease the flow, the brush is more pasty, more soft. It's softer. So for this blocking in stage, that I'm going to create the soft shadows of over the ground, I put the flow very low to have a softer effect. Okay, let's check the landscape. Okay, the goal is to have the same effect of distance. I'm going to add the path. The path has a very high perspective. This element will help to generate that effect of perspective that we want to have on this landscape. So let's go. The shadows overlaps the path, and we have to add more light over some areas of the path. For example, here is a bit of light also. To add a bit more of yellow. This is the blocking in stage. The goal here is to have a big picture of the image, and when we have all the light, shadows, the path with the perspective, with the right perspective, we can continue detailing. But now the goal is to have the right position of each element. Not to think on the tiles. Okay, I think that looks nice. A bit more shadow here. It's still very dirty, but trust in the process. It's like this process, this stage is like a sculpt. You are sculpting. You have to sculpt the shadows, the big shapes. Okay, the shadows over the grass, it has to be very soft. We are going to add new shadows here, and we don't have the reference, but you can see how the shadows in the distant areas are very subtle, very soft. So we have to. The goal is to get this effect, and notice that the transition between shadows have a lot of shades of green. Green, almost blue, a very pure, almost pure green, to yellow, and to almost brown orange, and return to the green and a bit of blue here. So we have to use blue in the distance. And here we have to use a bit more of dark shade of blue. Okay, I'm analyzing the picture. Okay, we need more shadows here. For the background mountains, we are going to modify a bit the colors, because I will paint the sky blue with some clouds. I'm not going to use this sky. I'm going to paint a new sky. I'm going to use blue for the sky and some clouds over the mountains, but with more predominance of blue. But I will do this later. Okay, I'm going to finish the path. Okay, I think we already have the general structure and the main elements. We have a very accused perspective with the pad. It generates a very sense of distance. Now you can see that this is a very closed area and this is a very far area. this a farthest area than here. It's a very aggressive perspective. Okay, so now let's start to painting the sky, because I want to finish the general mood or the general ambientation. I'm going to select blue. Okay, now I'm going to add a Gaussian blur. With a filter, Gaussian blur. Okay. I could paint this gradient with also with airsoft, but I like to have more control over on the strokes and see the separation between the different shades of blue before to blur it. It's like when you paint with watercolor or wash, that you paint with the brush over the wet medium, over the wet paper. At first you see the strokes, and after the strokes are blurred a bit, it's almost the same effect, and it's the effect I'm used it for. It's like adding water over the, because in wash and watercolor you can paint with very clear strokes, and after that you can add a bit of water to blur it a bit. This is almost the same effect. It's like in these areas I'm going not now, but later I will blur a bit with the smudge tool. It's like adding water to some texture over the painting. Okay, now we already have the effect of the blue of the sky, and let's check the image. Okay, I'm going to paint with blue those mountains. Wait a moment. Yes, those mountains. Here in the picture doesn't have a lot of blue because the sky is it's cloudy, but in my version it's more there are more sun. It's a sunny day with some clouds on the sky. So at the distance the mountains looks more blue. So I'm going to add more blue here in a new layer, and with the rounded sketch. It's a very good technique to paint with the green you or the color you want to use for the distance, and paint over the sky or the background, and pick the color of the opacity. It's like mixing colors. Okay, here the light comes from the right side because the sun touch here and here. Yes, it's like at the picture. The sun touch here. Touch here. Here is a big cloud with little clouds here. Yes, the light comes from the right side. Yes, we can see the source of light with these shadows. So we continue adding shadows here. Okay, at the distance we can use the same blue, but more desaturated, because we have to mix this yellow with the blue of the ambience. So we have to add. I'm going to add some light here but much more desaturated. Okay, little by little seems more a landscape than a mess of greens and dark greens. Okay, we have the blue of the background mountains. Okay, those mountains looks very dark. I'm not going to do it so dark because in my version is sunnier with more sun, the ambience, but I'm going to paint them more blue, like if they were in the distance, more distant. Like something like this. Actually, this area is on the shadow zone, so it has to be more darker. To use a darker blue, a bit of darker blue. this mountain actually continues to the background mountain. It's the same mountain. It's the same mountain range, but gradually goes to the shadow in the picture. So we have to try to represent this same effect, but in my version is actually a sunny day, so I will paint some clouds here to represent the shadows, but it will not has the same color because it's a different ambience. So it's a bit more of green here. As I said on the first session of this illustration, of this painting, this area will be the focus area. So is where the colors will be more saturated. And there will be more details. Well, not a lot of details because this area is very far, but I mean that the eye of the user, of the spectator, has to finish here. So I don't mean about the details. I mean about maybe I will add some town or some castle here to give something different in this area. Okay, I think that this mountain it's okay. As I said, I'm not going to add a lot of details because this is a practice. It's not a final illustration. I just practice a bit of illumination and represent the distance. So I don't want to lose in the details, but I love to lose in the details, but I don't want to do it with this artwork. Maybe I use this landscape for a future finish illustration, but for this practice I'm not going to add a lot of details. I just finish a bit of this mountain, a bit more of this mountain, but the background mountains I think are okay with this level of detail. I'm happy with the shadows, with the effect of distance, and with the effect of simulating almost the same effect of that those mountain range. It's in shadow, it's in blue, I think this picture is more contrasted than reality. It's because that it looks so dark here and here. And we are using anime colors, so it's more, the colors are softer than the reality. Okay, I'm happy with the background mountains. Maybe I'm going to add a bit more of light here and soft the shadows here. Okay, I need more sun here because this area adds more effect of perspective with these lines of sun. You can show you. If I add here a bit of lines of sun, it generates a more perspective and distance effect. It's very subtle, but it is because here there are a bump on the mountain. You can see that here generates an effect of a bump in the mountain, and the path goes here disappear, and continue over the next mountain. You can see here. To select other color, maybe this. Here is the separation between the two mountains. Well, it's the same mountain, but here there are a bump that separates the two mountains. It's this bump. This separation we made on the first session. So the path goes here. Here there is a bump, and the path continues in the distance here. So I have to give the same effect to this area. This area is very important because it's the area that gives the pad its perspective. The pad disappears here and continues here. Maybe this area is the most difficult area of the illustration or of the scene. And we have to work on this area with very thin lines to simulate this separation. Thank you, Shanax, for your support. Of course, we don't have to copy the exact path, the exact mountain, but I think that for get the same effect, it's important to solve this area. So here the path continues here, go after this bump and continue here. So maybe we have to modify a bit the path continues here. Oh, not bad. Actually, this area continues here. Okay, I think it's not bad. I'm not 100% convinced yet. Here the path is a bit more straight. Yeah, something like that. Okay, I like this area. I think it's nice, but the complication here it is the separation between the two areas. There are tricks to solve the situation, adding a little forest, adding trees, and you can avoid to manage this issue. But I want to solve Other solution is to add more contrast between two areas to simulate the separation. For example, if here there is a bump on the ground, for example, is here the mountain has a bump here, and continue. We add more light here, simulating the bump. Yes, maybe it's the best solution here. The perspective is the more complicated thing for me. And in this situation, I spend a lot of time trying solving it. It's because I do a lot of practice like this. Okay, I'm going to add contrast between these two areas. This area continues here, and here the path goes over this bump. So I'm going to add more light here. Okay, here, more light here, also here. Okay, I think it's okay. I'm going to do the path a bit more wide to simulate this line inside this line of grass is inside of the path. Okay, I think I'm not going to touch much more this area because I'm saying that I can spend a lot of hours here only here, so I left this area for now, and I'm going to add grass here and detail in the foreground, and the last thing I will do will be the clouds. Okay, let's go with the foreground grass, the foreground details. I also can spend a lot of hours only with this area, but I will try to not do it here. Okay, here the perspective it's a bit strange. I'm going to add more grass here. More grass here also. Okay, now it's better. One moment. Sorry, I lost a window and I have to find. Okay. Okay, I think the perspective of the path now it's okay. Here there are some areas with light over the path. So I'm going to add the light over the path. I'm going to add the light over the path. I will add some grass here, flowers, clouds, and I think the landscape is almost finished. And some tower here or some town. Sorry, because Photoshop sometimes show I click the wrong button and show me here in the middle the modifier, the brush modifiers, and I don't know how to hide. It's like it's blocked. So let's continue with the foreground grass and the foreground area. The foreground grass, foreground area, the lights over the path, a little town here, and some clouds, and the illustration will be finished. Okay, now is the blocking in stage of the grass, and later I will add more detailed grass. But for now I'm going to figure out the general texture. I have to add more light here on the path. Okay, here is where the grass touch the pad, so we have to add more shadow on the side where the grass touch the pad to generate this effect of the grass of a bit of grass over the pad, just like here. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to smudge with the smudge tool, I blur a bit the texture. With the flat brush, just blur a bit. We have to modify the strength to add more blur or less. Here the effect is the effect of the watercolor or wash, where you start with a very wet paper. When you start painting over a wet paper, all the textures you get are very blurred. It's one of the secrets of anime style or ghibli style. If you watch some traditional anime artists painting traditionally, you will see how it starts with a very blurred composition, and after you have the blurred composition with the with the light shadow solved, you can start detailing, adding grass details, adding leaves, adding rocks. Is one of the tricks or secrets, or not secret because it's not a secret. It's the process. Okay, now you can see that we have a very, if you see the image from the distance, you can see now it's almost finished. You can see almost finished image with the lights, with the shadows, with the distant effect. If you see the image from the distance, you can feel this effect. It means that the process is going well. So now we can start to details, to start with the details. Okay, now in a new layer, on a new layer, we can start adding the grass details. I'm going to use the rounded sketch, but modifying the pressure control, activating the pressure control, and now we have grass blades. Now at this stage we have to take in advantage of the lights and shadows we already have over on the painting, over the canvas. So we pick the light we have here and add the grass. The concept is to generate contrast between the different areas of lights and shadow. This is the first layer of grass. Gradually we have to increase the light. Now we add in the first texture. Okay, as before, I don't want to add a lot of detail because I can spend hours and hours only with the grass. But I only want to... The goal is to get the effect. The effect or the feeling of the grass. The effect of close grass, close to the viewer grass. Some areas of grass will touched by the sun, and the grass on the distance. The grass on the distance are almost invisible, but we only have a slight texture. In fact, at this distance, the grass is almost invisible. So if I want to add detail to the grass, I have to do it over this area. Over this area. Over this area I can see the blades of the grass, and after this area is less visible because it's too far to see the details of the grass at this distance. I can see some touches, some details, some spots of grass, but not individual blades of grass. So I add here all the blades I want to add, playing with different shades of green. And this area is a bit weird. I want to put on shadow and add some blades like this, and the tallest ones touched by the light. I don't care that looks like this because it's a practice. I know that it's very dirt here, but I don't care. For example, I don't want to have this effect. This is a very this is my DeviantArt gallery. For example, in this illustration of rear end, I spent tons of hours with this, painting each blade of the grass. But this is for the final illustration. It is not a practice, this is a final illustration. You can see here, you can see each grass blade. Or for example, this one, no. I have one that this one it's crazy. I spent tons and tons of hours with the blades of this field. But this is not the effect I want to achieve in the practice. So I just want to see at the distance and looks okay. Okay, because the sky is blue, this is another level of detail. I don't need to reach this level of detail here, but when the sky is blue over the closed elements, it's a very nice effect to add a bit of blue. For example, here, if you add a bit of blue here, you get the effect of the reflection of the sky over the grass. And it's a very, very visual effect and realistic. You don't have to add a lot of detail, just a bit of blue. And you have here come like the reflection of the sky over the glass blades. A bit more here. And for the texture of the pad, we can add some stones. The lights come from the right side, so we add lighter color on the right side and darker on the left side of the stones. It's very subtle. On the shadow areas, it's very subtle, the effect. But you have the effect of the stones on the path. To give a more realistic effect, we have to add more stones. But it's just for show you the effect on some stones. You can see the effect of the stones over the path. And here the same. Use some touches of lighter color. And for the shadow of the grass, we can paint some strokes like this. We have the effect of the size of the grass. Okay. I'm not going to spend much more time with the grass because, as I said, I can spend hours and hours, and I don't want for this illustration. Okay, I think that the effect of the grass at the foreground are very nice. It's very nice. I think I don't finish today this illustration. I have to finish in the next session. But we have made a very good process. So I think that I'm going to stop here the stream, and I will continue in the next session, finishing this area, adding some flowers and more detail to this area of the grass, not much more, but because I think it's okay for this practice, adding a tone here and finishing the clouds. You can see that now our reference photography and my version. As I said at the beginning of the last session, you have to use the picture as a reference, not as a thing you have to copy exactly. I add my own shadows here, other different type of grass, different colors, more anime colors. But the reference is here. So that's it. That's it for today. Thank you for watching and see you in the next session.